Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing this morning? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Hollywood After Dark for the 4th of February 2020. As you can see here, we're going to be talking a little bit about Indiana Jones today, but I'm joined by my good friend Louis Lecca from nerdreport.com and Nuke the Fridge. How you doing this morning, Louis?
Very, very, very good, man. I had a chance to check out your first edition of this new show you have in the morning, actually, during the LA rush hour. And man, it was so fun to listen to and watch while I was stopped in traffic. But man, I'm glad to be on here on your second edition of this. It sounded really good.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I got up this morning. I'll tell you this. I got up this morning and because I had a doctor appointment. And so I got up at like 7 and I think I left the house by 8 o'clock. And I saw you were on Twitter. And then I saw you retweet the show, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's watching it. And I think I shot you a call afterward because my appointment was over. So yeah, I thought I'd bring him on. Like right now, we're recording it. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, so it's a little bit on the late side. Unfortunately, tonight, if you are a politic person, the Iowa caucus is insane. We're not going to dive into it, but it's been taking up everything tonight, delaying everything until the late hour. But first, before we jump into all the stories, because I've got 4 stories today. That we're going to talk about, one of which is Hamilton. That's a big one. We're going to be talking about Indiana Jones 5 a little update on that one. A comment James Gunn made about MCU and permadeath. And Kathleen Kennedy talking a bit about female directors for Star Wars, which is something that I think is going to be a very hot topic issue for a number of people. But first things first, Disney did something today that kind of caught everyone off guard. You know that they were getting rid of 20th Century Fox, right? They're rebranding. They're doing away with all that.
Yeah, I do. I'm sad, man. It's part of American history. History and American cinema, and I'm sad, man. Why buy something just to get rid of it? You know?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But did you see? Check this out. This is the logos now, right? This is the we get the original 20th Century Fox logo on the left, and the new 20th Century Studios logo on the right. And I don't know about you, man. Like, I'm not digging the 20th Century Studios logo as much.
Man, unfortunately, though, a couple generations after this is done, they're not going to care.
Well, not even a couple generations, right? Not even a couple generations. We're not even a couple. Give it like a week. No one's going to care. Like, wait for their first, wait for Deadpool 3 to come out under 20th Century Studios, right? The first R-rated MCU kind of adjacent film coming out. No one's going to care. No one's even going to care when they're watching this live. No one's going to care if they're listening to this on the audio podcast later. No one's going to care. I kind of care because to me, and like you, I think it's just because of how much Americana is in that 20th Century Fox, right? And I know that they're getting rid of it because of the connotation with Fox. Like the previous association, they spent all this money for the brand, but they also want to make sure that it's synergistic with Disney's corporate and also Fox. So
I don't know about that, man. Why are you buying Fox then? Buy something else.
Well, they bought it for the catalog. They bought it for the catalog. I still maintain that they bought it for X-Men. I still maintain that was a primary factor.
2 days. I'll be here 2 days arguing with you. I don't think X-Men is big enough. That catalog is enough to give them a return on their investment. It's not big enough. It's part of it. It could 5 billion, not 80 billion or whatever.
Well, I mean, I've been going through this on Twitter with people that have been arguing with me over the return on an investment for Star Wars, right? Or for Lucasfilm. And it's a bunch of these chuds that are out there going like, there's no way that Disney has made back the money it spent on Lucasfilm with Star Wars movies. There's no way they've done it. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not just Star Wars movies. You know? It's
Industrial Light and Magic.
It's ILM, Skywalker Sound. It's all the books, the toys, the merch. I mean,
the toys sell a lot. They don't cost anything to make.
Well, people are saying now, but the toy sales are declining. And I'd say in some aspects, like I know post The Last Jedi, they declined.
We're talking, when we're talking about toys, just to get into the toys thing, when you walk into the old Toys R Us, rest in peace, or Target and Walmart, that's not all the Star Wars toys. The Star Wars toys that are expensive are sideshow collectibles. Go to a convention once in a while, you'll see the sideshow, $350. Probably cost them $20 to make, and that's like
And that's all
White
licensed
Devil.
through Disney, right? That they get a
Yeah,
cut of all that. Okay, okay.
correct. So we're talking
So,
right now the Baby Yoda that just got announced on
oh,
Sideshow, $350. My buddy that I'm not gonna mention him, but he doesn't like Star Wars. He sells Sideshow, and he admits to me, he goes, "Dude, that thing is selling through the roof."
I saw that thing. I want that thing. I really want to get my hands on that. You know, so that would be
And
that's
it's
something
and
that would be fantastic.
And then real quick, it's not just Baby Yoda. It's Luke Skywalker action figures. It's well, not action figures, statues. It's Jabba the Hutt. It's the Emperor. The catalog's huge. That's only Sideshow. Okay, so I'm talking about those are real collectible stuff. They fly out the door.
Well, if you watching at home would like to help me get a $350 Yoda, you can come over here to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo.
Hold
Look at
on,
the
let me get my
ticker
phone.
look
Hold
at the ticker on the screen. You know, all that jazz. Check it out, support the channel that way. But anyway, we've got yeah, I agree with you that the slideshow stuff is definitely there's a lot there that's collectible wise. I go to conventions, you go to conventions, we see a lot of that stuff. I just don't think I ever really put it in that kind of perspective because I mostly see like Walmart, Target, you know, and it's like, but I see, I live in Washington and up here, this entire state is like sponsored by, you know, Funko Pop. So it's just like
Star Wars Funkos.
those are, yeah, what was that? When I was in LA, right before I met up with you to go see Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah.
I'm at one of those stores. It's like 2 blocks down from the Chinese, right? It's one of those like Hollywood collectible stores or whatever, merch, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I go and I'm looking at their Funkos. And they've got Star Wars, The Force Awakens pops that I guarantee you have been there for like 2 years, right? They had Finn from like The Force Awakens. And I was tempted to buy it. I was tempted to pick it up because I thought like this could be like a collector's item. And then I'm like, I'm only here for a day. Like, I don't need to buy this. This is going to do, you know, this isn't going to do well for me.
Well, let me look real quick. I don't know how much time you have, but right behind me on this side, that Mandalorian, this one right here. This thing, I think they're calling on the black figures. I'm not sure what these are called. I don't collect.
Oh, the Black Series. Yeah, they're Black Series.
This one is $150 second market.
Really? That's the one and you got that from going to the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I went to the Mandalorian Disney Plus press junket. They gave me this. You know, I have it as a background thing and stuff. I'm glad to have it. I will not sell it. Oops, there it goes. Look, now it's bent. Now it's only $5. But anyways, yeah, so this thing is like going for $150. You can't get it anywhere. It flies out the door. This is not Sideshow. This is this is Star Wars.
Yeah, whatever the Black Series is. Yeah, I've got. My brother got me one of the ones with Darth Vader a couple years ago for Christmas. I don't quite know where it's at. I need to find it. But I'll tell you what I want. What I want real quick for Star Wars merch, and then we'll jump into the stories. I actually will go spend the money for a Build-A-Bear Baby Yoda. I will go because I've got a Build-A-Bear Chewbacca my girlfriend's mom got me for my birthday a couple years ago, and that thing is featured prominently on my dresser. You know, next to my Boba Fett and Darth Vader bobblehead Funkos, and I need to get the Mando bobblehead Funko. I've seen it, and I think I saw one at your place, and I was tempted to steal it just so I'll be transparent. You wouldn't have known until I was already back in Washington, so haha. But no, well, I still have to find when I get one.
I'm at the age right now. I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm gonna be getting. When I buy Star Wars stuff, it's got to be screen accurate right now. That's
okay. So bobblehead's not for you.
No, it's got to be screen accurate. It's got to be elusive. Well, elusive concepts is not anymore. But you guys Google elusive concepts. I think they went out of business. They used to actually get the screen mold. They used to use for the film and stuff and sell those. And I couldn't afford them. I still can't.
Well, one day we'll be titans of industry and we'll be able to get it. So why don't we jump on over to the stories for today? We jump over to the stories I got lined up. A lot of good stuff here to talk about. First things first, let's talk about this new deal with Hamilton. Did you hear about this one? Hamilton movie with original Broadway cast is coming to theaters, and I don't care. Like it's not that I don't want to see. Like, I'll probably go see it because like I keep hearing everyone's like, "Have you seen Hamilton?" I'm like, "No, I'm an uncultured swine. I clearly don't go to Broadway. I live in Washington. I live in the forest. You know." Like, I don't want to spend the prices, $870 some for a ticket, and that's like them saying that's a steal. You know, I mean, like I was at a convention in Portland a couple years ago, and there was a dude selling a bootleg copy of Hamilton there, and I thought, I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it, but if you're selling it, that means I know I can probably go on YouTube and find it, and I did, and then PBS ran it, so it's like, why PBS got Lin-Manuel Miranda to do Hamilton on a free broadcast. So why would I spend money to go see it in theaters? I can sit at home and watch it. I get the same experience, right?
No, the experience is 100% different.
Yeah.
Seeing it live. I know mostly, I'm going to say, this is kind of directed mostly as guys. Gentlemen, go out and check out a musical. Don't knock it. Don't be like Matt.
No, I like musicals, man. I saw Avenue Q, right? And I can't say in theaters. I wish, but no, I went and saw it at a play. And I would love to buy it on DVD. I'd love to watch it again. But I had to go find a like fan production of it on Vimeo in order to rewatch it, because for some reason Broadway doesn't ever want to give up these things and like stream them in theaters. So that's why this is interesting, because I've talked about that long time ago. I brought up a video. I'm like, could Broadway do better by kind of like, going into theaters and broadcasting on more of like a wide scale. So that's why it's funny that Disney decided to do this. But let's jump in here to the article itself, saying here that movie theaters aren't throwing away their shot to have Hamilton on the big screen. Disney is bringing the film version of Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical sensation with the Broadway cast, original cast, to cinemas in North America on October 15th, 2021. The movie version isn't an adaptation, but rather a live capture of the stage performance. It was shot at the Richard Rogers Theater in Manhattan before founding members began to depart the production. And here's where it gets wild. The rights to this film, to the stage film, went for an eye-popping $75 million in a deal brokered by Endeavor Content. Three individuals close to negotiations had told Variety, and Denver shopped the project around Hollywood, presenting it to studios like Warner's, and before Disney nabbed it. But let's be fair on that one, right? After Cats was $100 million loss for Universal, right? Or a $70 million loss for Universal. Clearly Warner's is like not barking up that tree. Cause I was telling you before we started going on this, that apparently like them getting all their catalog together for HBO Max has already cost them $1.2 billion in earning revenue, right? And profits off of the streaming rights. So they're anxious to get this stuff on the ground. They probably don't want to spend any extra money here. But what do you think about that? I mean, $75 million. You think it's a good deal, bad deal? Where you at?
Great deal. It's a great date movie. Everyone's gonna want to go and see it. People are obsessed with it. They're gonna watch it 2 or 3 times. $75 million is kind of cheap. How much realistically is a production gonna cost?
Well,
let's say $150 million.
No. It's already done. It's already done. Oh, so this isn't like, yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what kind of caught me off guard too. This isn't a stage. This isn't like a live action retelling.
Interesting.
This is just literally. This has already been filmed. This has already been shot.
Advertisement. That's
just advertisement. Yeah, it's not gonna be that bad, but still $75 million.
No,
so
not that much, man. I think this is a $600 million movie.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. I was looking around and I found this. I found this screenshot here. The Hamilton opened August 6th, 2015. It's closed on Broadway, but it's still running. Its total gross to date is $622.4 $1 million. And the thing with that's fascinating is it cost $12.5 million to produce, and it's brought in so much that Lin-Manuel Miranda is probably going to be a billionaire by the time his career is done and he's retired, So, I'm not like, I'll probably go end up seeing this just out of pure curiosity. But do you think this is going to be the future of movie? You think of partial entertainment? Because think of it like this. We know that right now, Hollywood, theatrically speaking, is all about spectacle, right? It's all spectacle of show. They keep screwing themselves when it comes to a lot of the smaller projects, right? They put all this money in these films, they end up bombing, but the tentpole films do okay. And I guess Fathom events probably must do well enough to warrant to keep doing it, right? So this is just maybe Disney capitalizing on something that's already been done, because they're kind of known to do that.
This is guaranteed. This is guaranteed box office gold. And if you ask me, I don't know if it's just an LA thing, but people are obsessed with Hamilton. All kinds of people from everywhere that I've met keep talking about it and keep talking about it. So they're gonna go watch the movie. $75 million is kind of cheap for Disney. It sounds like it, you know,
because all they have to put out then is the P&A for it, which would be about maybe another $30 million.
right?
So it's not too much. You figure like, you know, perhaps maybe 50 P&A tops. I don't really think they're gonna have to do much with that. Hamilton's so well known, and then from there they'll take it and they'll run it down to you know, they'll put it in theaters and they'll
What about the parks?
But what do you mean about
Could
the
they
parks?
do like little Hamilton, you know, play like little samples of the music or whatever on the parks?
Well, they bought the film rights to
Right.
it.
So that's one step further.
That is, I mean, they
Toys.
could. So, I mean, my question then becomes: are they going to put this on, you know, Disney Plus next year? When you know, at the end of its run, are they going to put? I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do the streaming rights. But they're hoping to make a fair amount of money off this deal, and it's probably looking. Yeah, you're right. Probably 75 million is not much. They're probably thinking they could probably get at least $500 million off of this.
IMAX 3D. What do you think?
No, they didn't shoot in IMAX 3D. Any of that post-convert
Convert it.
crap. Oh,
Convert it.
no. We're past the post-convert phase. Okay, I lived through 2010 and 2011 in Los Angeles, just like you did. I remember when all of that crap was all, oh, we're doing 3D post-convert. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And it was crap. It was terrible. And I blame Avatar for that. But okay, so Hamilton, you think it's going to do well? I think it's going to probably do well. I think this could be the start of maybe that trend, and I'm okay with that because there are so many plays I haven't seen that I would like to see, but I don't want to pay the price of going to see them in a show because I don't really feel I'm going to get $800 some odd dollars worth of value off of seeing it, you know. But I still want to see it, so that's the problem. But anyway,
Last musical I saw was Blue Man Group. So
well, there we go. All right, so let's talk a bit here about this Indiana Jones 5 news. Right now, we know we know that it's coming. It's coming next year, right? For the 40th anniversary of the franchise. And Kennedy here confirms that Indiana Jones 5 will be a continuation and not a reboot. And to me, that's fascinating, predominantly because Harrison Ford is old, man. I mean, he was 63. Or no, was he 68 when they did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? I think he was 68 when they did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And here it is going to be 13 years past that. So he's going to be... No, he must have been 63 because he's not near 80 yet. You know, or he's getting up there, but like, God, how are they going to be able to pull that one off?
you know what? He's got a movie coming up for Disney, the one with I believe the dog. I forgot the name of it.
Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. And
it's technically a Fox movie. It's technically a Fox movie, but
yes, but it's gonna screen inside. Just so you know, I don't know the side note. It's gonna screen inside Disney Studios. I guess in a week or so. And also remember, he was very energetic and charismatic for The Force Awakens. And that was way after.
Yeah, I know he was. I actually, yeah. When I rewatched Force Awakens back in December, I forgot how much I just love Harrison Ford. So no, you don't understand. Like, or I am 100% on board with Indiana Jones. I'm 100% on board with it being a continuation. But let's go into the article here. So according to Collider, it says, it's been a minute since we've had a solid Indiana Jones 5 update. Luckily, Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy was on hand Sunday night at the 2020 BAFTAs to give us an update about the progress of the forthcoming installment. And she says, speaking with BBC here, Kennedy shared some important news about Indiana Jones 5. When asked about where progress on the movie stood, Kennedy replied, we're working anyway. We're working away. We're getting the script where we want it to be, and then we'll be ready to go. And she went on to confirm Harrison Ford will be involved. Yeah, it's not a reboot. It's a continuation. And that's big news because, well, I mean, I don't want to say necessarily big news, but it does kind of give us a sense of ease, right? It does give us a bit of a sense of, You
I
know,
never doubted it was going to be a continuation,
I
though.
well, given how many delays, I kind of did, and given what happened with Harrison Ford on the set of The Force Awakens, with him breaking his leg, and the story I was told by another kind of movie access Hollywood, or access media insider, was that Harrison Ford almost died on the set of The Force Awakens, and so it's like so that but instead he broke his leg. Again, that was just what I heard, but so he's getting up there in years, and this is going to be a heavy thing. And looking at Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he still did a lot of his stunts, and Indy is going to have to punch Nazis. He's going to have to punch Nazis.
Yeah.
So I don't
There's
know.
never been a doubt in my mind that it was going to be a continuation, but there's a very big doubt in my mind right now that it's even going to happen, if that makes any sense. So I don't think
Well,
it's going to happen, but if it does,
I think it's going to
be a
happen. I mean,
continuation.
like if Harrison Ford dies, then before then, not only will the world weep, but yeah, it would basically be dead in the water. Now there is a bit more to the article here. It's nothing too substantial, but I kind of wanted to go through it anyway. Where it goes on to say that production on Indiana Jones 5 has been slow, steady, but ultimately tangled up by a variety of delays over the years. While rumors of a fifth film kicked around since the release of Crystal Skull, it wasn't until 2015 when Kennedy spoke to Vanity Fair that it became evident that there were real plans to make the movie happen. However, it's been a long and winding road to make this movie happen. Filming start dates and release dates have been pushed back further and further as efforts to ensure the story was cracked and Steven Spielberg's schedule was open. As recently as September 2019, screenwriter David Koepp says that he talked about where the story stood. He says, "I'm working on it again. We're still trying, and I think we've got a good idea this time. We'll see." That said, no hints have been dropped about what the story will be. If work on Indiana Jones stays on pace, then it will keep coming out in the summer of 2021. A couple things with that are a bit on the bothersome side for me. Koepp is the writer of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And that is like the last person I want writing this one.
I don't know. He knocked it out of the park with the refrigerator, though. That scene was
okay. So yes, your company's namesake was taken from that event. And funny story, and I told you this when we first met, that when I saw Crystal Skull for the first time and the nuke the fridge scene happened, I was like, dude, that's a great name. I should totally go and buy that domain name. And then I found out that it was unavailable. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I found out that it became a movie news site, which I was like, okay, cool. And I read off and on throughout the years. And then I randomly met Lewis on Twitter and found out that he ran Nuke the Fridge. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to suck up to this guy because he's Access Media and we've been friends ever since. But no, I mean, yeah, okay, the Nuke the Fridge thing was fine. That's fine. I like that bit. I love Crystal Skull. I do. I love Crystal Skull. I have no problem with it at all. Outside of the monkeys, I still can't do the monkeys, man. Still can't do the monkeys, but I enjoy everything else about it. So
I can't take the Mexican music in Peru. When they land in South America, there's music that for traditional music that you were here in Mexico being played in Peru. When Indiana Jones, every time they made one of those movies, every time they travel to a different region, in the originals, they really researched the archaeology, the history of the countries. So it was very, very accurate when you used to watch the original Indiana Jones. They were based on reality. You used to research the stuff they were talking about, and you were like, wow, that's pretty on point. This film, the fourth one, was a bit sloppy.
That particular point is something I was unfamiliar with, but we can agree that there's elements that were sloppy in the movie, but that doesn't take away from my enjoyment of it. I do very much like it. But I'm hoping that it gets made. I know Spielberg right now just wrapped up West Side Story. And I know he was doing that one before doing Indiana Jones. And I'm like, dude, can't West Side Story wait? Right? Like, for one, is anyone really, like chomping at the bits for another West Side Story? Maria! Like, no one is asking for it. Like, no one I know is out there banging on Spielberg's door to redo West Side Story. I'd rather see actual Romeo and Juliet get remade. But
it's
Harrison
a passion
Ford
project.
Everything with him recently has been a passion project. Give me Ready Player 1, 2, or Ready Player 2. Give me that one, because I love that movie. But that's not the point of this conversation. Anyway, Indiana Jones 5 still on track Still confirmed. Not a reboot. It's a continuation. Do you think we're going to see Marion Ravenwood? Do you think Karen Allen's going to come back? What about Sala? We need some more Sala, though. I think we do need some more Sala. And what about Mutt? You think Shia is going to come back into the picture?
No.
I don't think so. I think after he talked a lot of crap about the last movie, he ain't coming back on
the
this
fridge
one.
is coming back, though.
The
They're
fridge, the lead line fridge. Yeah, they're
going to make fun of it.
No, they should. They totally should. They give him something crazier to do. But it's like, it's been 13 years, right? So check this out. By the time, if they're going in chronological order, if they're going in year order, and they did this between 1989 and 2008, right? It was 19 years between the two. So when they did it, what was it? Damn it. In Raiders, it was 1936, right? So
wasn't it the 40s, the middle of World War II?
It wasn't in the 40s. It was in 1930s. All three Indiana Jones films took place in the 30s. Temple was actually a prequel because it took place in 1935 and not 1936, which is when Raiders took place. But Last Crusade was 1939. And then that, from its release to the release of Crystal Skull, that was in 1957. So they kind of like set it up a little bit to where it followed, like, from the last movie, the amount of years passed.
Yes.
So that's why Mutt was 21, or 20 or 21 at the time. So it's kind of funny to see, like, how, you know, like how they aged it appropriately. So then my question is going to become, is this movie going to take place in 1970? And I think it probably will, because it'll be 13 years from 1957 to 1970. And what was going on politically in 1970? We were balls deep in the in the Vietnam War. So and since these movies all kind of base around certain wars, I have a feeling Indiana Jones is going to Vietnam
to punch Nazis,
to punch the Viet Cong, which would be funny to see an old man punch a small Asian boy. I don't know. I don't know. It's not gonna be funny. It's gonna be serialized violence comical. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. We've been on that one for a while. So this is an interesting one that popped up in regards to James Gunn, where he explains why he thinks characters should die in the MCU. But before we jump into that here, Lewis, do you think characters should die in the MCU?
Well, there should be a way of directing them so we think they're gonna die, and I think the director and the writer's job is to kind of like entrance us in the film when we sit in the theater that we feel like, wow, the hero could actually die. But MCU in particular, they stick very close to comics, and these comics, these characters have been around for such a long time, and to tell you the truth, Matt, they never die. They die for like a couple issues and then they're brought back. So being the MCU, I do think characters should die, but moreover, when it comes to the MCU, I think it's the director's job to make us think they're gonna die, but they're not gonna die. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like where I'm at with it has a lot to do with, I kind of like the concept of permadeath. And if you're going to be talking about have these characters come and go, I think characters need to die sometimes and not be resurrected. Like, let them die. Let us deal with that. And TV does it real well. Like TV does it well where characters, I look at Game of Thrones, like characters died left and right. And I think that works out well for like not only the catharsis of the audience, but also trying to tell these stories. Look at these images here. We've got all these superheroes, these super beings that can survive all sorts of crazy stuff. So the likelihood of them, making their way through all sorts of situations are going to be probably higher than not. But I like the idea of Iron Man being dead. I don't want him coming back. I just really don't want him coming back. Not to say that I don't love RDJ, but I think he served his purpose, and bringing him back would only, I think, kind of sully it.
He's going to come back.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's going to be, well, Dr. Dolittle was such a huge flop. He's going to have to come back. I don't
think it has anything to do with that. There was never a doubt in my mind. They brought him back, and this is a spoiler if you haven't seen the Endgame. Come on. They brought him back like a couple minutes after he died, supposedly, I know it's a hologram or whatever, but it's still he's back. He's talking to his friends. You know, he's back. You know
Well,
what I mean?
we don't know what else he had recorded.
Yeah, but the
So
mere
we
fact that they show you that recording right away, a few minutes after, I mean, what makes death in real life so hurt so much is that you see these people, they're full of energy, they're talkative, they're alive, you're with them all the time, and then just one day they disappear, right? But when you got like something on the MCU with the Endgame, Tony Stark dies, and it's really sad. But then a couple minutes later, you got like a full image of him walking around talking and kind of being funny guy. So it kind of takes away from it. And you know
yeah.
he's going to come back.
Well, yeah, he's going to come back because that's going to
Yeah.
be. I mean, there's too much money at stake. But anyway, so we're talking about James Gunn and why he
Yeah.
thinks characters should die. We went off a tangent, but anyway. So it says here that James Gunn has done a bit of killing in the Guardians of the Galaxy and explained on Twitter why he thinks it's vital for death to happen to the MCU. Spoiler alert: Gunn here killed off Yondu in Guardians Volume 2 to much consternation with some fans. Of course, that's far from the only major death in the MCU over the past year or two, with Iron Man and Black Widow both dying in Avengers Endgame. Gunn responded to a fan on Twitter who asked him not to kill off any main characters in the forthcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Sure. So he says here, or what the person says, Saurian Hairbrained, says, my only comment or request for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is that you try not to kill any of the leads. There's no good reason for taking out a character. Again, and stress can be generated in a myriad of ways without terminating a beloved character. That being said, I'm sure I'll love the film. To which case he says, so you don't think any characters in films should die? I can't agree. I think films help us deal with our own mortality and the mortality of those we love. And seeing through the lens of that story, fable, myth is of benefit to people. And he's not wrong. And I think he's more in line with that now because he's directing Suicide Squad, where, you know, basically he's got this massive, massive, like, treasure trove of talent that's in this movie, right? And, you know, he's like, don't get attached. Don't get attached. They all gonna die.
He's a horror he's written and directed horror movies before, so yeah, he's used to killing characters off.
Yeah, and I think cool because did you hear what happened the other day, where like there was a person who sent him a literal death threat because he had like they were like, if you kill a Rocket, I'll kill you. And
that's ridiculous.
And that was like literally, yeah, that was a headline. I think they're comicbook.com or something. You know, and it was like James Gunn has a perfect response for you know, a fan that sent him a death threat. And I'm like, okay, for one, wait, what, huh? Two, huh? Really? Okay. Like, I mean, I get death threats every once in a while if they've been mailed to my home. It's unfortunate.
You can't prove anything about me.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I don't know where you were on that day, that one time, in that one place. But no, I mean, like, it's just, I get it. Fans get attached and people don't want the characters to go away. It is one of the reasons why the MCU has done as well as it is, it's one of the reasons why comic books in general have done as well as they have, and other series like that as well. It's one of the reasons why I talk a lot about cortisol levels. If you kill off a character, or you, let's say, for example, you end a show, like a show just gets canceled. There's a huge cliffhanger, a couple seasons in, fans are super involved. Show gets canceled, no conclusion. And that actually causes people physical pain because of the cortisol levels that get built up as a process, or as a result of all that. And so, you know, I'm wondering if like keeping these characters around and giving the audience what they want is one of the things that really kind of built up that loyalty. And fans are going to revolt if Rocket dies, by the way. But I don't think Rocket's going to die. For one, it's probably just, you know, cheaper to CG him than it is to actually pay somebody who's a big name talent to be on set.
Was there a leak about him dying or something?
No,
That makes no sense.
I don't know. Let's
I don't know where that came from.
There was, I mean, I know that the Oreo the raccoon, who was the inspiration for Rocket Raccoon, like, you know, he ended up dying about a year ago. And then that's about it. So let's, you know, okay. So let me just quickly, I'll bring this up here. So just so we are, you know, just so we know what the hell's going on. This is from a Cinema Blend article here. I didn't prep the assets because I didn't think about it. This is from a couple days ago. James Gunn is getting death threats over Rocket's fate in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So it says here let's see. Okay, someone here named Pedro Gold. I'm assuming that they didn't really keep. Okay, so I'm pretty sure the guy got taken out. It's not there. But all right. So what they say here is James Gunn did the near impossible. He made a movie from a largely unheard comic book story about a group of a-holes that included the likes of a talking tree and a raccoon to the soundtrack of 70s music. And then the audience got completely behind it. There's a tons of reason why it shouldn't have worked, but Guardians of the Galaxy has become one of the most iconic movies to come out of the MCU. So much so that fans are threatening the writer-director about Rocket's fate in the third movie, which we can't see what it is because it's been removed.
I like the way they said fans plural, like there's a big mob of fans.
Yeah, I know. But I guess he's joking around with it. He says, "I'm also gonna die if I don't kill Rocket Raccoon." And that's a funny way of looking at it. Obviously, it's a funny way of kind of approaching it. But really, it's like, okay, fine. But that's just kind of where he gets that kind of weird attention. But hey, it's a lot better attention than he got a year and a half ago. So there's that.
Why? What happened?
That was the whole him getting.
I know.
Oh, okay. Don't mess with me. I'm a literal person. So there's that. But anyway, I think him killing off characters. I think killing off the characters is going to be something good, something fun. And if he kills Rocky, people are going to be mad. But if it's done in a meaningful way, like Yondu died, and what came out of that was "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," right? Like that, because that happened right before he died. And then like people were memeing that, and then Michael Rooker got killed, and they still memed it, and they were fine with it because he died in a meaningful way. If the characters die in a meaningful way, people are gonna be more fine with that. Anyway,
yeah, and then it evolved into "I'm Carrie Poppins, y'all" from The Last Jedi.
Let's not talk about that one. We've all suffered through that movie. But let's go into the last story here because we've been on for a little bit longer than I had booked you for. So.
I get paid by the hour, man.
You do get paid. Yeah. So yeah, no, we're going to wrap this up. Okay. So finally today, let's talk a bit about Kathleen Kennedy, who says here that she hints, apparently, she's not outright saying this, but she's hinting that an upcoming Star Wars movie will be directed by a woman. Now, I can already hear a certain group of people on YouTube having insane problems with this. They're clutching their pearls. They're making their way to their fainting couches. They are upset that a woman might be directing a Star Wars movie. And come on, you know who I'm talking about. But look, do you care?
Personally?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because during one of my shows, I was talking about this, and you asked me, who do you think would, after we read this report, who do I think is good to direct Star Wars? And the names that came out of my mind were Deborah Chow, who did the best episodes of Mandalorian, and Patty Jenkins. And then I thought about it. I'm like, man, I honestly cannot think of any guys that could direct Star Wars that I feel safe with. Taika Waititi could do it. But his style's a little bit, sometimes it's a little extreme. I don't know the direction Star Wars is going. I couldn't answer the question right now. I would say Deborah Chow. I don't mind who does it. I love Star Wars. And I want it to be great. I don't care who does it.
Yeah.
I actually prefer a bald Cuban, so I could feel like
you just want to direct Star Wars yourself, is what you're saying.
No, another bald Cuban, so I could see bald.
Who's a bald
right here
Cuban director?
I don't know any.
No, I know you're bald. Oh, whatever.
I don't even know a director, male director that could do a Star Wars movie at this point.
Well, there's a lot.
I don't know where they're going, Matt.
There's a lot of people that I think could direct a Star Wars movie. But let's take a look here at the collateral,
right,
or the /from article. They say, in an interview with BBC News, I think this is like the same one from the one we talked about earlier with Indiana Jones. Kennedy said that without question, one of the upcoming big screen Star Wars movies will be directed by a woman, saying here, we've got 2 or 3 fantastic women working with Star Wars. We're cultivating a lot of great talent. Now, I agree with this statement here. It says the wording is admittedly a bit vague, but Kennedy was quick to respond yes after the interview asked if there would be a female director on a Star Wars film, saying we've already got them before citing before citing Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, which had Deborah Chow and Bryce Dallas Howard. However, when the interview asked her to clarify if a movie could get a female director, she confirmed absolutely. So yeah, that is right true. Right now, we do have Deborah Chow and Bryce Dallas Howard are two confirmed female directors inside live action Star Wars. And Deborah Chow was great. We both agree she did the best episodes. I didn't think Bryce Dallas Howard was bad. Her episode was fun.
I liked it. I liked it. It felt a little off for what we're used to with Star Wars, but I liked that episode. It showed a lot of emotion, and it brought us probably the best Baby Yoda scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a scene where he's grabbing that little ball from the
I think so. Yeah, I think that was that one.
Meme. That's the one where everyone memes, and it was so awesome to see it. It was cute, but not over the top. Where Baby Yoda's teething, so he's biting on it and stuff. And I like the chemistry Mando had with the woman, the indigenous woman from the planet. I thought it was pretty damn good, and it was the introduction of it was a soup scene, right?
The soup scene. We get the soup scene. I was just gonna say the soup scene. Like everyone's like, you're just like the memeing. I'm all like the soup scene. Not to mention the Thal cat, which was another Clone Wars. Or no, I think that was a Rebels reference because the planet Lothar. And then you had Cara Dune. Plus the Raider ATST.
Yeah, there was a lot of good elements in that episode. The only thing that fell off to me was the music. Watch it again, the music, but I don't know if Bryce Dallas Howard had anything to do with that. Other than that, I think it was a pretty solid episode. It's the Dave Filoni ones that were like kind of.
Well, the second Dave Filoni one, the first one was fine.
Yeah, but like I said, Dave Filoni's world building is he's awesome.
I agree. So let's go. The article does have a little bit more here. It says Kennedy has been waffling around the question of a Star Wars movie female director for some time now, countering criticism she hasn't yet hired a woman to helm a major film in the franchise since she took the position. But while some progress has been made on the TV front, the films are still a big question mark. Lucasfilm is taking a break from making Star Wars movies for the next few years, though Rian Johnson still has a trilogy in the works. Yeah, right. That gives Kennedy some time to find a female director to put in charge of a Star Wars project and to put her money where her mouth is. Now, to that, I have to kind of sit there and laugh at that statement because there's one key thing that statement is omitting. Did you catch it?
No.
Right. Well, okay. How much time is left on Kathleen Kennedy's contract?
23?
No, 2021. She will not be in charge of Lucasfilm unless they magically renew her contract, which I don't think Iger is going to do. She will not be in charge of Star Wars when they've got the next movie. Now, she'll be able to set the movie up and probably put a female director in. But other than that, she's got to work. She's got to get the Obi-Wan show out. She's got to get Cassian Andor out. There's all the talk of like a High Republic or an Old Republic TV series. I take all that with a grain of salt anyway. But, there's all that talk of the other TV shows for Disney Plus because of the popularity of Mandalorian. And she's got to put the right people in the right position. Because that, in my mind, is going to be what establishes the what's left of her legacy at Lucasfilm. Because now that they're free of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which I think they were bound to by Bob Iger, if I'm being honest. They've had their missteps, they've had their successes, obviously. So now they're open. She can do what she wants. She can set things up how she wants to do it. But I think Iger is still relatively calling the shots.
Yeah, I agree. Iger is still calling the shots. It's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of a little bit off the subject, but the Cassian Andor show. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. I don't see any.
No, there's been movement on it. They've been building the sets in Pinewood.
Well,
they've already been building sets up. At least that's what I read. I'm waiting for a full-on production start date to be announced, and I think we're gonna find out more in 3 days. I think we're going to find out more on Friday, because if I recall, that is when Iger is going to be doing the quarterly earnings call with shareholders. So All of that information is going to be what gets out there, what people are going to be dissecting. So we'll know more come Friday, and that will be a lot of fun.
Bring on Deborah Chow.
Completely 100%. Bring on Deborah Chow. Give her a movie. Give her make Obi-Wan a movie. Screw it. Just give her something and make it happen. So that's all the 4 stories we got, man. That's a lot of content today. There's a lot of stuff there. Is there anything here at the end you might want to add?
You know, I think you pretty much put the nail in the coffin. Everything for the show is all the hot topics we know up to now. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, man. I mean, right now it's at the point where anything Kathleen Kennedy says is going to be looked at with the how would I say
scrutiny.
Yeah, and it's gonna under a microscope and stuff like that, because although I repeat this to you all the time in private, is like, I know you like the episode 9 more than I did. I did like the movie, especially on the second run, but I think we both feel in our hearts what a lot of fans know as well, is that Star Wars could be better. This is Star Wars. There's so much. The universe is so full of greatness that it could have been better. Do you agree with that, man?
No, I don't disagree that it could have been better.
So we didn't get that better when we're watching and Marvel's awesome, but when we're watching Marvel like come out with 3 times the box office than Star Wars, as hardcore Star Wars fans, it hurts us. So we want to see
this thing. It doesn't hurt me at all.
It doesn't hurt.
How can it hurt you as a Star Wars fan? I mean, look,
Star Wars kicks some ass, man.
Yeah, Star Wars still kicks ass. I
want it to still be supreme, number 1, second to none.
Well, it's. I mean, the thing is it was, that you have the MCU got built up before Lucas sold to Disney. And then Disney wanted to dive in to doing everything the way that they did. And that ended up, I think that really ended up kind of hurting the pacing. They should have never, look, as much as I enjoyed the sequel trilogy, I can fully admit they should have never, ever done it.
Well, they should have done it the way that the expanded universe kind of hinted, not exactly like them, but maybe take some ideas from there, show us the conflict between Leia and the crew rebuilding the newer Republic after the fall of the Empire. What's up with that? What's up with Luke? We know he started teaching Jedis. We wanted to see a little bit of that. What's going on? Maybe have an Imperial Revolution where they're all fighting for power and stuff. I don't know.
Well, what I would like to see is show us I know everyone's always like, oh, the Empire. Yeah. Well, I like the Empire, and I want to see like that's one thing I love about the Mandalorian is showing us the kind of like what's happened, the remnants of the Empire. And then I think what they're going to do is they're going to probably give us a lot more insight into how the First Order got built, Well,
also, what about the new generation of Jedi that didn't, and Sith, especially where they didn't know the rule of 2? And maybe, wouldn't it have been cool that after Return of the Jedi, the rogue Jedis started that were under Luke or Force sensitive beings started using the Force with the dark side, and then started reestablishing the Sith, and there were, let's say, 15 of these guys or girls, right, mixed up, or species, whatever, and then they were going up against a new generation of Jedi, and they don't use the rule of 2 because they haven't gotten to the point where they all betray each other, and where Bane had to establish that rule, right? So a lot of fans, I think, want to see a lot of Sith Lords versus a lot of Jedis.
Well, yeah, I get it. I get it. People want that. And I think I think Disney kind of realizes that now, because that's kind of what if I recall, that's kind of what Jason Ward was kind of hinting at least through Den of Nerds, who was talking about it like as a proxy. So I think that might be where there could be where they're headed with everything, and I'd be 100% on board with that to give us that story. But I do think that they are gonna change out the High Republic for what's the word I want to use here? It's gonna be like the High Republic is gonna also be the Old Republic. I think they're just gonna dive right into that and treat Darth Bane, the rule of two, but treat it as being something that was tied maybe more into Revan. But that could have its backlash as well.
So going back off the subject, we see the trailers for the Marvel shows on Disney Plus. I'm really, really, really looking forward to covering those shows.
Yeah, same
maybe
here.
on once in a while, maybe on my channel once in a while. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Is doing what we did for Mandalorian, but this time for Marvel. I think that's going to be interesting with Disney Plus. Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
well, I plan on doing that. Yeah, what I want to do is I want to do more with what's the word I want to use here? More with like
reactions
on the well, no, not so much reactions, like doing like the reviews. The problem is like this is getting I think the biggest problem, and this is just kind of like us just kind of chit-chatting at the end here. When we were doing The Mandalorian, right, we would watch it at midnight. If it came up at midnight, remember like the second or third episode had dropped later for both you and me, different weeks. So then it's like, okay, so we watch the episode, and then it's like we got to do our review, and then we're gonna do a live stream, and then it's like 1:30 in the morning.
but
We had some people, but it's like what if we would have taken that?
the last episode, there were a lot of people.
There was 100. Yeah, there was like 100 people watching, which is fantastic. Yeah. But my thought on it has a lot more to do with where we could potentially if we wait, maybe like we do the reviews or whatever, but then we just do a stream the next afternoon or something. People will have more time to watch it, and I think we'll get more people to come on in. It doesn't have to be right away, and I think that's the biggest problem is so many times on YouTube, and it's not just YouTube or whatever, it's the media trying to do it right away. And I think because we're rushing, we don't produce the same kind of content. Like today, for example, yesterday, for example, I kind of rebooted the show and I just set it up like normal. And then today, if you noticed, I went through and I created graphics and little, I took what I needed, and it wasn't just like, let's read an article. It was like, hey, here's some stuff I built.
It's a great idea, Matt. I'm telling you right now, and everyone listening, watching, or listening to this show you have while you're stuck in traffic is perfect. You know what I mean? Gets you through the morning as you're waiting. Stuck in traffic is the best thing, and that's why you asked me what kind of formats do I like. I like long forms because I could just press play, chill in my car, and listen and forget about being stuck in traffic. Because I hate morning radio. It's either that or morning radio in my city, and it's just boring with not trailers but commercials every 5 seconds, and it's just not interesting.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm not a big I like talk radio, but yeah, the ads do get a little bit on the annoying side, don't they? Where it's
I don't
like
like music either, because music, it's too researched and they play the same song over and over again. So I like listening to YouTube for that reason.
Yeah, no, a lot of people do like YouTube, and that's kind of the whole point of this thing. That's why I wanted to have more guests come on. Obviously, have you come back on. As I think it flows a lot better having somebody else. I don't mind doing it myself, but it's like when I'm able to record, why this is a premiere, in 6 hours from now, instead of doing it live, is just because that's the time I have. And so people, if we were to do it live right now, I'd get maybe 20 people watching. I could get more in the morning. It's just the logistics of it. So it's the unfortunate side of all that jazz. But all right, I think we are going to wrap it up because we've been on for close to an hour. But I do want to say, if you guys want to help support the channel, best way to do that is patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. I am going to be bringing in the channel memberships. We'll be launching sometime this week. And the reason why I want to do that is because I can get special emotes for the streams, for the premieres. They're going to have like little, I'm working with some people to try to get some cool emotes made up. So then people can have those access to those emojis, or I don't even know what the hell they're called. But until then, if you like it and you want to support it, this is the best way to do it. And also, you guys can check out the Discord to keep up on the conversation. The link for that is in the video description. And I look forward to everyone leaving your comments, leaving your thoughts, leaving your stuff. And Lewis, tell them where they can find you.
Well, on social media, you could go on Twitter and Instagram at Nerdlecca. You could see the spelling on the screen. But if you can't see the spelling, it's at NERDLECCA. Or you could watch my content. Not as good as Matt's, but I'm getting there on Nerd Report. Check it out.
Well, I appreciate the plug. And everyone else, we'll see you all later on. Have yourself a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.
Nerd out. Woo!